In the busy city of Enugu lived a young woman named Amarachi. She was known everywhere for her stunning beauty, her curves, her glowing skin, and her bright, confident smile that captured attention the moment she entered any room. People often whispered, "That girl is too blessed. Men will fight because of her." And Amarachi liked hearing that. She enjoyed the way people's eyes followed her when she walked. She enjoyed the compliments, the excitement, and the power she felt from being wanted. But behind all that beauty was a deep, quiet hunger, one she didn't fully understand. She didn't want love, she wanted attention. She didn't crave commitment, she craved admiration. And even though life looked fun and perfect from the outside, Amarachi was slowly becoming a prisoner of the validation she chased every day. Among all the people who admired her, there was one man who was different. Obinna, a gentle, hard-working furniture maker who lived 2 streets away. He wasn't rich, he wasn't loud, and he didn't have the kind of looks that made women scream. But he had something Amarachi had never experienced before: patience and sincerity. Whenever he spoke to her, he looked into her eyes, not at her body. Whenever he saw her passing by, he greeted her with a calm smile. "Amara, I hope your day is going well," he would say softly. She would laugh lightly and respond, "Obinna, you and your calmness. Are you sure you're not secretly a pastor?" He always smiled shyly. No matter how chaotic the world around her was, Obinna's presence felt like fresh air. But at the time, she didn't know how valuable that calm air truly was. When Obinna finally gathered courage to speak more openly, he approached Amarachi one sunny afternoon. She was buying roasted corn near the junction when he walked up to her. "Amara," he said gently, "can we talk for a minute?" She raised a brow, smiling playfully. "Obinna, hope I'm safe. You're sounding serious." "Oh." He took a deep breath. "I like you. I don't hide it. I know many people like you too, but I care about you differently. I'm not trying to impress you with money or fake life. I want something real." Amarachi blinked in surprise. She wasn't expecting such honesty. She looked him over and said half-jokingly, "Obinna, you know I like you, but I'm not sure I'm ready for anything serious." He nodded slowly. "I understand. I'm not rushing you. I just needed you to know how I feel." His voice was steady but hopeful. For a while, Amarachi enjoyed Obinna's steady presence. He brought her breakfast sometimes. He checked on her whenever she looked tired. He encouraged her to return to school. He told her, "Amara, you're more than all these men see. You can become anything." She would roll her eyes but secretly liked the way he spoke to her, like she had value beyond her body. But at night, her phone never stopped buzzing. Messages from different men poured in. "Send me your location. Let me take you out tonight. Baby, I miss you." She enjoyed the attention too much to let it go. One night, she was getting dressed to go out when Obinna called. "Amara, are you home?" She sighed impatiently. "Obinna, please, I'm stepping out." He paused. "Again," she snapped. "Why are you sounding like my father? Let me enjoy my life, please." He didn't argue. He simply said, "Good night." As weeks passed, Amarachi grew more surrounded by loud friends and flashy men. They showered her with compliments, drinks, and money. One evening at a lounge, her friend Nena leaned toward her and whispered, "Amara, forget that you're calm carpenter boyfriend. Men like him are too slow. Enjoy yourself, Jer." Amarachi laughed loudly. "Which boyfriend? Obinna is just a friend." Meanwhile, Obinna watched her drifting farther. He tried to talk to her gently. "Amara, I'm worried about you," he said one afternoon. She brushed him off. "Obinna, I beg, stop acting like something is wrong with me." He swallowed his hurt and simply said, "Okay. I won't disturb you again." But something in his voice made her pause. She didn't ask him why. She didn't check to understand how he felt. She just continued chasing the attention that made her feel powerful, forgetting the man who cared for her quietly. Obinna slowly began to pull back, though he didn't disappear completely. He still greeted Amarachi whenever he saw her, but with less warmth. One day, she noticed he wasn't calling as often. She frowned and mentioned it to him casually. "Obinna, you're forming busy these days, abi?" He gave a small smile. "Not really. I just don't want to disturb you anymore." She waved her hand dismissively. "Disturb me? You worry too much." But that night, as she dressed up for another outing, her chest tightened. Something felt off, like a quiet loss she couldn't name. Her phone buzzed with messages from different men, and she smiled and continued dressing. But somewhere inside her, she felt Obinna slipping away. She whispered to herself, "He will come around. He always does." But even as she said it, she wasn't fully convinced. One evening, Amarachi returned home unusually early. The hangout she attended had been boring, and she found herself thinking about Obinna more than the music or drinks. She dialed his number on impulse. "Obinna, where are you?" she asked. His voice came quietly. "I'm at home." She hesitated. "Can I come over?" There was a short silence before he answered, "If you want to." She walked to his house, unsure why her heart was beating fast. When he opened the door, he looked tired but calm. She sat down on his couch. "Obinna, did I offend you?" He looked at her gently. "Not really. I just realized something." She leaned forward. "What?" He sighed. "You're chasing a life I can't follow." She stared at him. "What does that even mean?" He responded softly. "It means I don't think you want what I want." Amarachi felt irritated by his calmness. She stood up. "Obinna, why are you talking like this?" He looked into her eyes, and she suddenly felt exposed. "Because," he said quietly, "I care about you deeply. But you don't see me." "Not really." She folded her arms. "So you want me to stop going out? Stop having fun?" He shook his head. "I want you to value yourself. And us. If there is ever going to be an us." She rolled her eyes. "Please, Obinna. Not every outing means I don't value myself." He nodded. "I understand." She frowned. "Why are you acting like you're giving up?" He stared at his hands. "Because I'm tired of loving you alone." The room went silent. Amarachi opened her mouth to speak but couldn't find the words. For the first time she felt afraid. Afraid of losing something she didn't know she needed. The next few weeks were strange. Amarachi pretended everything was normal, but her heart wasn't calm. Whenever she went out, she found herself comparing the flashy men to Obinna. Their loud jokes felt empty. Their sweet words sounded practiced. Their interest faded the moment she set a boundary. One night, after a party, she sat alone in her room staring at her reflection. "What are you even doing?" she whispered to herself. She picked up her phone and scrolled through her chats. Dozens of men. Dozens of meaningless conversations. She sighed and clicked on Obinna's contact. She typed, "Obinna, I miss talking to you." She stared at the message and deleted it before sending. "He will think I'm desperate," she muttered. She dropped her phone and lay down, unable to sleep. For the first time, the attention she once craved felt exhausting. One rainy evening, Amarachi decided she couldn't endure the silence anymore. She grabbed her umbrella and walked to Obinna's workshop. The sound of rain hitting the zinc roof echoed through the shop. He was sanding a chair when she entered. He looked up surprised. "Amara." She swallowed hard. "Can we talk?" He wiped his hands and nodded. "I'm listening." She hesitated. "Obinna, are we still friends?" He looked at her for a long moment. "Yes, but things have changed." She shifted uncomfortably. "Because of me?" He nodded slowly. "Yes. And because of me too. I allowed myself to hope for more." She took a deep breath. "Obinna, I don't want us to stop talking." He smiled sadly. "We won't. But I can't keep holding on to something that only I am fighting for." Her throat tightened. She had never heard him speak with such finality. Amarachi left the workshop feeling like someone had poured cold water on her heart. The rain soaked her clothes, but she barely noticed. She kept replaying Obina's words in her mind. I can't keep holding on to something I'm fighting for alone. That night she didn't go out. She stayed in bed, hugging her pillow, feeling an unfamiliar ache inside her chest. Nena called. Amara, you're dulling. Come out, Jor. Amarachi forced a laugh. Not today. Her friend scoffed. You're thinking of that carpenter again? Amara didn't answer. After the call, she whispered into the darkness. Maybe I am. She realized she wasn't missing the attention of the other men. She was missing Obina's quiet presence, the way he made her feel safe and seen. But pride held her back from calling him. Instead, she closed her eyes and wondered when loving someone had become so complicated. Days passed, and Amarachi noticed something strange. Obina had stopped passing by her street. He stopped sending small texts like, "Hope you ate today." He stopped checking in. His silence irritated her more than she wanted to admit. One afternoon, she walked past his workshop but didn't go in. She watched from a distance as he laughed with a customer. He's really okay without me, she wondered. Later that evening, she saw him at a grocery store speaking to a woman. The lady was smiling warmly, touching his shoulder lightly. Amarachi felt a strong, unexpected stab of jealousy. Who is she? She muttered under her breath. She tried to act busy as she walked past them. Bina saw her. Amara, good evening, he said politely, too politely. She forced a smile. Evening, the woman beside him asked softly. Who is she? Amarachi didn't hear his answer, which somehow made it hurt more. Back home, Amarachi paced around her room, angry at herself and at Obina. How can he move on so fast? She complained aloud. She called Nena. Enni, I saw Obina with one girl like that. Nena laughed loudly. Good. Now you'll stop forming and claim your man. Amarachi frowned. He's not my man. But you want him, Nena shot back. Amarachi fell silent. After the call, she sat on her bed and whispered, Do I want him? She remembered his gentle smile, his thoughtful gestures, the way he said her name like it meant something. Yes, she wanted him. But she also knew she had pushed him away repeatedly. And now, she wasn't sure if he was willing to come back. She took a deep breath and decided, tomorrow I'll talk to him. Properly this time. For once, she wanted something real. Not attention, not flattery, but Obina. The next day, Amarachi dressed simply and walked to Obina's workshop. Her heart thumped as she approached. She found him arranging wood planks. He looked up. Amara, good afternoon. She swallowed nervously. Can we talk? He hesitated then nodded. Okay. She sat on a wooden stool. Obina. I'm sorry, she began. He stared at her quietly. For what exactly? She took a breath. For taking you for granted. For ignoring your feelings. For acting like your love didn't matter. Obina rubbed his forehead. Amara, I never asked you to be perfect. I just wanted you to meet me halfway. She nodded, eyes shining. I know. I failed at that. He sighed. I cared for you in a way I've never cared for anyone. But I felt like I was loving a shadow. She looked down. Can we try again? She whispered. Obina didn't answer immediately. After a long silence, Obina finally spoke. Amara. I'm not sure. She felt her chest tighten. Why? He looked at her with tired eyes. Because I'm afraid. She frowned. Afraid of what? Afraid that I'll pour my heart into you again, and you'll walk away again. Afraid that I'll care more than you do again. She clenched her fingers together. Obina, I'm trying. He nodded. I see that. But I also see how many people pull your attention. I don't want to fight for space in your life. Amarachi's voice cracked. So what do you want me to do? He spoke softly. I want you to choose what you want. Not because you're lonely. Not because you're jealous. But because you're ready. Amara stared at him, feeling small. And if I'm ready now? Binna sighed. Then prove it. Not with words, with your life. Amarachi went home confused yet determined. She muted her social apps, declined hangout invites, and avoided men who flirted with her. For the first time, she was alone with her thoughts. She began to notice how empty her routine had been, changing outfits for outings, smiling at meaningless compliments, pretending she was happy. One evening, she sat with her mother on the veranda. Amarachi, you look worried, her mother said. Amara sighed. Mummy, have you ever loved someone but didn't realize it on time? Her mother smiled knowingly. Love is not always loud, my daughter. Sometimes it whispers. But if you don't listen, you lose it. Amara looked away, blinking tears. I think I'm losing mine. Her mother placed a gentle hand on hers. Then hold on to it before it slips too far. That night, Amarachi cried softly. Not out of heartbreak, but out of realization. One morning, Amarachi decided to show Obinna she was serious. She cooked a simple meal, jollof rice and fried plantain, and carried it to his workshop. He looked surprised when she walked in. You cooked? He asked. She nodded shyly. For you. He wiped his hands. Thank you. As they ate, she spoke softly. Obinna, I want to change. He raised a brow. For me. She shook her head. For myself first. But I hope you'll be part of it. He studied her face for a moment. You're trying. I can see it. She smiled weakly. I hope it's not too late. He paused. We'll see. His cautious tone stung, but she understood. She was the one who had broken the trust. Now she had to rebuild it, brick by brick. As she left, Obinna called out softly. Amara, thank you. For the first time in months, hope stirred in her heart. The following weeks were a journey of discipline for Amarachi. She avoided the parties that once thrilled her, the men who once distracted her, and the friends who only encouraged her recklessness. One afternoon, Nena confronted her. Amara, what's happening? You're acting like a born-again. Amarachi sighed. Nena, I just want something different now. Nena scoffed. Because of one carpenter. Amarachi replied calmly. Because of the kind of woman I want to become. Her friend rolled her eyes. Suit yourself. After she left, Amarachi felt strangely proud. She was finally choosing stability over chaos. She visited Obinna occasionally, helping him sand wood or clean the workshop. One day he watched her sweeping and said quietly, You're changing. She smiled. I told you I would. He nodded slowly. Yes. You're becoming someone I could build a future with. Those words filled her with warmth. One Saturday morning, Obinna invited Amarachi to walk with him. To the market. They talked and laughed like old times. At one point he turned to her. Amara, are you doing all this because you want me? She looked him in the eye. I'm doing this because I want a better life. But yes, I want you too. He inhaled deeply. I want you. But I'm still scared. She touched his arm gently. I understand. Let me ease your fear with time. He gave a small smile. You talk differently now. He chuckled. Well, life has humbled me. As they crossed the street, he said quietly. I missed this. She blinked. Missed what? Obinna replied. Talking to you without feeling like I'm fighting the world for your attention. Amarachi lowered her head. Ashamed yet grateful. I'm sorry for putting you through that, she whispered. As their bond slowly renewed, Amarachi decided to finally ask him the question that had been haunting her. They sat outside his shop one calm evening, watching people pass by. Obinna, she began, that woman I saw you with at the supermarket. Who is she? He chuckled softly. Ah, that's Kayamika. She's my cousin. Amarachi's eyes widened. Your cousin? He nodded. Yes. Why? She looked away in embarrassment. I thought she was someone else. He grinned. You were jealous. She groaned. Please don't start. He laughed. It's okay. At least it shows you care. She nudged him lightly. Don't let it enter your head too much. But inside, relief washed over her like cold water. For the first time in a long while, she felt her heart settling. Obinna wasn't lost. Not yet. And she still had a chance to win him back completely. One evening, Obinna invited Amarachi to meet his mother. Are you sure? She asked nervously. He nodded. Yes. She has been asking of you. Amarachi dressed modestly and followed him to his family home. His mother, a warm elderly woman with gentle eyes, welcomed her with a big smile. Ah, Amarachi. Obinna has told us plenty about you. Amara blushed. Good evening, Ma. As they all talked, Obinna's mother said softly, My son likes you sincerely. I hope you treat him well. Amarachi swallowed. I will try with all my heart, Ma. The older woman touched her hand. No one is perfect, but kindness and commitment go a long way. On their way home, Amarachi walked quietly. Binna noticed. Why are you quiet? She whispered. Your mother made me realize how much you value me. He smiled softly. I always have. Meanwhile, the men who once chased Amarachi noticed her sudden distance. One of them, Uche, approached her outside a pharmacy. Amara baby, you've disappeared. Oh. She forced a smile. I've been busy. He smirked. Busy forming good girl because of that carpenter? Amarachi's expression hardened. Obinna has more value than you'll ever understand. Uche's smile faded. Wow. So you've changed. She nodded firmly. Yes, I have. He laughed mockingly. Don't worry, you'll come back. Amarachi looked him straight in the eyes. Never. Walking away, she felt a strange power, not from being wanted, but from choosing self-respect. That evening, she told Obinna what happened. He listened quietly and said, I'm proud of you. Those simple words meant more to her than all the compliments she had ever received. For once, she felt like she was building something meaningful. Just when everything seemed to be improving, life tested Amarachi again. One night, Nena called her crying. Amara, please come. I'm in trouble. Without thinking, Amarachi rushed to a club where Nena had gotten into a messy argument with some men. As she tried to calm her friend, one man recognized her. Ah, Amarachi the superstar. Long time. She ignored him, focusing on Nena. But the man continued teasing. So you left all of us for that carpenter, ABI? Amarachi snapped. Leave me alone. The situation escalated until security intervened. After taking Nena home, Amarachi sat alone in a taxi, shaken. She realized how easily her past could drag her back if she wasn't careful. That night she called Obinna. Are you okay? He asked. She nodded even though she was trembling. I just needed to hear your voice. He replied gently, I'm here. The next morning, Obinna visited Amarachi with breakfast. You didn't sound okay yesterday, he said. She sighed. I hate that my past still finds me. He sat beside her. Your past doesn't define you. Your choices now do. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Thank you. He hesitated, then said, Amara, can I ask you something? He sat up. Anything. Do you really want a relationship with me? Or are you running from the life you used to live? She paused, then spoke slowly. Obinna, I want a life where I'm respected, loved. You give me that. And I'm ready to give it back. He studied her face. You sound sure. She smiled softly. I am. He reached for her hand. Then maybe we can start slowly. Amarachi nodded with relief. Slow is fine. As long as it's with you. As they started dating officially, Amarachi found herself learning the beauty of steady love. Quiet walks, shared meals, deep conversations. No drama, no confusion, no noise. One evening Obinna said, I like how peaceful this feels. She smiled. Me too. But adjusting wasn't always easy. Some nights, she felt tempted to check old messages or return to her old habits. Whenever the urge came, She reminded herself of the emptiness she had felt back then. The difference now was clear. Attention had been temporary, but Obina's care was consistent. One afternoon she told him, "I never knew simple love could feel this good." He laughed. "Simple love lasts longer." She nodded. "I'm learning that." For the first time in her life she felt safe, not because someone wanted her but because someone valued her. And because she finally valued herself. One day, Obina surprised Amarachi by taking her to a quiet park. "I want to talk," he said. She felt nervous. "Is everything okay?" He nodded. "Yes, but I want us to be honest." They sat on a bench. Obina took a deep breath. "Amara, I forgave you long ago. But sometimes I still feel afraid. Afraid that one day you'll get tired of simple love and run back to the noise." She held his hand tightly. "Obina, listen to me. That life nearly destroyed me. Those people didn't care. They just wanted my body. But you wanted my soul." His eyes softened. "I just want to know that I'm enough for you." Tears filled her eyes. "You are more than enough. I'm not going anywhere." He exhaled with relief, and at that moment, he believed her completely. With time, their relationship became stronger. Amarachi even helped Obina grow his business by promoting his furniture online. "You're bringing me customers," he laughed one day. She grinned. "Good. You deserve success." Their bond no longer felt one-sided. They were growing together. One evening as they walked home, Obina suddenly said, "Amara, do you ever regret the past?" She looked up at the sky. "Sometimes. But if I didn't make those mistakes, I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have appreciated you." He smiled. "I'm glad you see it that way." She linked her fingers with his. "I'm happier now." Obina squeezed her hand gently. "Me too." It felt like a small promise, spoken without words. Eventually, Amarachi realized she needed closure from her old life. She unfollowed the last of the men who once distracted her. She even called Nena to apologize for their argument. "Amara, you really changed, oh." Nena said. "Yes. And I'm better for it." A week later, Amarachi ran into Uche again. This time, when he approached her with his usual arrogance, she simply said, "I'm not that person anymore. Please respect that." Surprisingly, he nodded. "No wala. You look happier anyway." For the first time she agreed. She was happier. Not because of Obina alone but because she had chosen peace. She walked home with a light heart, realizing she had overcome the hardest part, breaking free internally. On a quiet Sunday afternoon, Amarachi sat beside Obina as he worked on a new chair design. Without looking up, he said, "Amara." She hummed, He paused his work and faced her. "Thank you for choosing me." She smiled. "Thank you for waiting for me." He shook his head gently. "I didn't wait. I just loved you enough to hope." Her chest warmed. "Hope is still waiting," she whispered. He laughed softly. "Maybe." She placed her hand on his cheek. "My heart is yours now. Fully." He leaned into her touch. "And I'll protect it with everything I have." For the first time, neither of them had doubts. Months later, Amarachi stood in front of the mirror, staring at the woman she had become. She was still beautiful, still endowed, still radiant, but the light in her eyes was different. She no longer needed countless voices praising her. She no longer chased excitement that led nowhere. She had peace, real peace. And she had love, a quiet, steady love that had waited for her to grow. She walked outside, where Obina was packing furniture orders. "Ready?" he asked. She smiled. "Ready." As they walked together, she whispered to herself, "Losing the wrong people taught me how to value the right one." And she knew, without a single doubt, that she would never go back to who she once was. She had found herself. And in the process, she had found love that was worth keeping.